So today we're going to talk about body language. Body language can be used to help calm your dog. You can incorporate dominant body language to get them to do what you're asking them to do. There's just a lot that goes into it. That is how dogs communicate with each other. So we can definitely use that to our advantage. And there's also desensitizing. My Radier boy here is a rescue, and we had to do quite a lot of work with body language for him to get comfortable with us and with different kinds of people. He was particularly afraid of tall men, so we worked with some of my friends that are guys that are tall, working with him on slowly increasing that dominant body language so that he can live a happier life and be less nervous because he's safe now with us. So just the basics of body language. We'll start with the dominant body language. So leaning over your dog is definitely dominant. Dogs tend to put their head over the other dog's neck to show dominance. So that's kind of where that comes from. So it's better to squat next to them if you're saying hi to a dog that you don't know or a dog that's nervous. Take away. Squaring your body with theirs is also kind of a challenge sign. So dogs that I don't know that I greet, I will squat and also not be facing them like this. Good. Yeah. And kind of reach out. Eye contact is a very big one. As humans, we think eye contact is great. Kids as well. So, you know, a lot of people will come in to say hi to a dog and do all of them at once. Face them, lean over, and make eye contact and say, "Hi, dog." Don't do that with a dog that you don't know well or a dog that's not yours. You might have to be a little rude with other people that do that to your dog and just tell them, you know, my dog is a little bit nervous. Could you maybe squat down and face away? That kind of thing. Just keep your dog comfortable and safe. Good boy. Stuff like that. Approaching a dog head on. Dogs tend to curve in a semicircle when they meet each other. Good. Another big one that they do to calm each other is displacement behavior. So they will stop and pretend to sniff something. They're not really worried about that smell. They're trying to show the other dog, you know, I'm not a threat. So you can do that with dogs as well. Dogs that I meet that are very, very nervous, I pretty much completely ignore them. I incorporate all of those things where I'm not facing them, squatting down, and I will pretend to look at something else. Or now phones are our focus a lot of the time. That is a great way to get a dog comfortable, to just, you know, look at your phone and ignore them. And without fail, they will come over eventually if I'm showing them that I'm not a threat. So that's something to keep in mind. Oh boy. Yeah. So all of these things you can work on if you've got a nervous dog. The other video I did with Cher about touching on them and stuff, that kind of is wrapped into this, about handling, so that vets and groomers and stuff can put their hands on your dog. That is important. So kind of a progression of desensitizing would be, you know, I start with a dog like this and just reach my hand out. Sometimes I even have to toss it to them, and that's okay. Just kind of slowly, quick movement is a big one as well. If you're moving around and stuff, it's going to make them nervous. So don't do that. Just kind of working up, and you can slowly adjust. You know, if you've got a dog that's really nervous about body language, this is a great way to increase a little bit and moving a little closer. Good boy. Good. You can start to bring yourself up a little bit higher than them, all the while with treats. If they have this distraction, you'll notice a lot of the time if you get to this level, the dog will be glancing up at you a little nervously. Right. And just kind of a slow progression of, now I'm over you. Duration is a big one, doing it for a second and then moving away, doing it again. Good boy. So all of these things with desensitization and body language and that sort of thing is a slow progression. Like most dog training that I talk about. So keep that in mind. Another way that we use body language, like I mentioned, is to get your dog to do something. Get away. Let's see if we can get him to move. So if I just lean over him, that does wonders a lot of the time, and I only do it with dogs that are not nervous with me, that I've got an established dominant role with, dogs that I train a lot. And a lot of the time, if I ask them to do something like to sit, and they don't, I'll wait a few seconds, lean forward slightly, and they sit, and that's great. Yay, you get a treat now. So that, it definitely can be utilized, but it is a thin line. You have to really know where you stand with the dog that you're working with. If it's your own dog, ideally they'll be comfortable with all of these things. If you desensitize your dog to dominant body language, especially getting in their space, standing over them is a big one. I would not do this with a dog I don't have a very strong relationship with. I know, you just want the cookie. If you've got a dog that is desensitized to those things, then in the worst case scenario, you know, if a kid happens to run up to your dog and you have desensitized them to that, there's less chance that there will be a bad outcome. So it's all about keeping them happy and safe and helping them live more comfortable, happy lives.